I'm happy to meet you because I know you're a Montreal Canadiens fan.
I am, yes.
Talking to you off the camera, but you really know what's going on with the Montreal Canadiens.
Care about Les Habitants, Les Glorieux, for sure.
Right.
It's been a crazy year for you. Never mind the fact that you got a job, you write a book, and then you make a big announcement.
Yeah, you know what, George? When I was afraid, because what are people going to perceive you as a dumb? Because all my youth have been called dumb, stupid, because nobody knew about the illiteracy. But my dad told me, unfortunately, he was an alcoholic. Told me I would never amount to anything. And when I came out with this, November 2nd of 2005, it's just recently, it made such a big boom. We thought, okay, the province of Quebec, that's where I'm from. Across Canada, the Anglophones, the English media, through the States, it's been phenomenal, more than we ever expected.
And I wonder, as you talk about your father, did any of that, when you're sitting on the bench and you're looking at your players, did any of that stuff from your past come into your head and go, this is going to affect the kind of coach I'm going to be? I'm going to learn to talk to these kids in a different way? Or
300 plus interviews, the first time I've been asked that. Yes, because I wanted to make sure, I needed attention, I needed love, I needed understanding. I wanted to make sure that I would give that to my players. I wanted to make sure, first of all, I would give that to my kids, because it was so difficult when you're squeezed in the corner and you just can't express yourself. So they call me a player's coach. They made fun of me because I used to tap my players on the back. They made fun of me at times when I used to say how great my players were. I guess whatever, you're not supposed to say that.
So it's more than just winning, it's about acceptance too, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I think probably more acceptance than winning. And I wanted to win dearly. Every game that I coach, over 1,000 in the NHL, every game was the most and biggest game of the year. So I looked at it that way, but I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to, and all this time, not that I thought about it every day, but all this time I knew I had some big secrets that someday, if I ever comes out, it's going to be, wow, how the heck did he make it to that league? How was he able to survive? How was he able to be, if you want, successful?
When I heard the story come out, because obviously I had no idea, we didn't have any idea, but I wondered, were there people around you professionally, I know personally for sure, but professionally, people who protected you, who knew what was going on in your life and said, look, we know, but we're going to cover him here?
No. My wife knew Debbie in St. Louis, 1983, short story. The bills came off a road trip. The bills weren't paid. And I said to Debbie, at that time she was my girlfriend, I said, Debbie, the bills haven't been paid. And she said, well, I'm not your secretary. Good point, right, George?
Right. So you should have paid her.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right. I've paid her since then. So I threw the bills on the floor. I said, listen, well, I ain't going to be able to do it either, because the bills won't be paid, because I can't write, and I certainly have difficulty to read. Reading's been a little bit better, but writing's been more difficult. So, wow, and then I was gambling, if we ever leave each other, if we don't get married, I want to protect my job in the NHL. Who the heck's going to hire me? So a couple days later, I got a little bit upset with myself because I had never told anybody.
So I assume you were scared.
I was scared. I was scared to be discovered. I was scared. That's why when I went to different areas, in Montreal, Detroit, St. Louis, the travel person who take care of the traveling, the PR people, the secretaries, I really befriended them. And they would do tons of things for me. I had the real good explanation. One, I lost my glasses so many times, or let them at home. Two, I'm French Canadian, going to work in the States. I have difficulty. You learn how to lie. I was an unbelievable liar to protect myself. I hadn't had the choice, George. But I'll protect myself. I was brought up so poor. Maybe I go back to there. I was driving a Coca-Cola truck. Maybe I go back to there. So to protect yourself, I call them in the books my angels, the people who helped me, the people who wrote things for me, the people who I went to say, what's written in the paper here today? My assistant coaches, could you write certain things on the board, like don't be late for practice tomorrow, or plane leaves at 10:30. They did that. They never thought that, they thought I was a guy who just let people do their work. So in the book, they're angels, and they're angels. They saved my butt. It's as simple as that.
Now, talk to players, and they know about your life. You know, your thing with your father and your family. Do you have a different relationship with them now?
When I first came around the Montreal Canadiens player, I was very embarrassed. I was shy. Some great comments from Craig Rivet said, you know, it's hard to believe he was one of the best, you know. Saku Koivu, the comments from some of the players were, I don't know if the word is refreshing. I don't know if it, for me, it was made really feel good. Doug Gilmour, one of my all-time favorite, Kurt Mullers. You know, Doug Gilmour writes in the paper in Toronto and gives me a great little story. I mean, man, and I love Doug Gilmour. And the rest of my players, Steve Eisenman, Patrick Waugh, Kurt Muller, Guy Carbonneau, you know, but I was embarrassed. I was shy. There's your former coach. There's a guy coaching the NHL. I just told you I can't read. I was battered. I told you I was raised in poverty. But maybe some players identify with some of their family.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much, George.
Thank you, sir.